Hey there, Juan Morales here, and in today's episode we're going to cover a key distinction that I like to call action time versus waiting time. And it's something that's extremely useful for entrepreneurs and business builders and anybody who's really trying to achieve something, because it overcomes a sticking point that a lot of us get caught up in that took me a long time to overcome, and that has taken a lot of my students and clients a lot of time to overcome as well. And this is kind of what to look for and how to change it. The first thing to understand is that when we are looking to achieve any goal, there are going to be certain actions that we take that lead to a moment where now we're waiting for feedback to, let's say, keep doing the actions that we thought of before. But this is the problem that shows up every time. It is during that time, that waiting time, right? Because when you're taking action, you're focused on the actions, you're focused on the doing, you're focused on taking the right actions and putting everything together so that now whatever you have is launched, whether that's a new product, whether that's a new promotion, whatever it is, now you finish the actions. And then you sit there and then you start to wait. And here's the problem. When you sit and start to wait, that's when all the anxiety comes in. That's when all the fears kick in. That's when everything about your nature is going to start trying to discard, destroy, and ultimately invalidate what you've done in the past. And this is a very common occurrence. It's something that happens a lot to people when they do something, they put it out there, and then they wait for the feedback instead of taking more actions to keep themselves busy, to keep themselves active, until that feedback comes in. Let me explain it from another perspective, right? Let's say you're doing content. And like I've done in the past, where I'll go out, I'll put in, let's say, a piece of content, and I'll do one piece of content, and I just put it out there. And then I'll wait, let's say, for next week to create another piece of content. Well, what happened was, during that week, all I'm thinking about is, did that content work? Did it not work? Was it good? Was it not good? Did they like it? Did they not like it? Is it worth it to keep going? Should I stop doing it? So all the doubts, all that fear, all those unuseful beliefs come across when I'm doing it like that. Now, when I shift the model to something like what I'm doing nowadays, which is to create content daily, I don't have enough time to wait. I don't have enough time to wait, and by not waiting for the feedback, but actually taking another positive action in that direction, I am actually getting better at everything that I'm doing because I'm practicing every single day versus doing one episode or one chapter 1 week and then waiting a whole week for the next one to come in. Well, a lot of thoughts can come in through that waiting period. And that's really what I want you to think about, the waiting period. If you give yourself a waiting period where you don't have anything to do and you're just going to sit there and wait, guess what? That's when all these doubts, all these fears, and all these anxieties are going to come in, and they're going to set up shop. And they're going to do so very quickly when you're in that mode. But if you purposely and deliberately create activities that you do while that is happening, then you don't have to be nervous about what's happening. Because guess what? The feedback's going to come in anyway. But you focus yourself on getting other stuff better, on getting yourself better, on achieving other goals that you may have. So the point is to not have that waiting time. Don't sit back and just look at it and wait for good things to happen. If you ever find yourself in that situation, understand that it is precisely that moment that creates all the fears, doubts, and anxieties that you may have about your goal. Stop spending your time waiting and start acting. Start doing something else. Start taking that action that's going to lead you to something else. I want to give you another example that shows how this goes. Now, one of the things I've been doing as of recently is I've been doing the intermittent fasting thing, which basically states that I eat for a certain period of time during the day and then I fast for the rest of the time during the day. Now, usually for me, it means that I'm eating at 2 p.m., which is my time to start eating. Well, I'll tell you this. On the days where I'm waiting for 2 p.m. to come along, it feels like it takes forever. I am extremely hungry. I am cranky. All these things that can happen along the way just because I'm waiting. But on other days when I have meetings and calls with clients and all these things, and I'm focusing on that, I'm basically taking actions. 2 o'clock comes along, and I'm usually surprised that it came along so quickly. So what does that show you? That if our minds are put on waiting, that's when all the anxieties, fears, and doubts will develop. But if our mind is set on action, then there's no waiting happening. So that's why we don't get into those anxieties, doubts, and fears. And we can finally move into action territory and achieve our goals a lot faster. So remember, stop waiting, start taking action. Till next time, this is Juan Morales signing out. I'll see you on the next one.